Man, I hope you guys like Buicks as much as I do. Because you know what? Over the next month or two, you're going to be seeing a lot of them. Let me tell you what happened. We do a live the other night. And we're just talking, you know, with the audience back and forth. And somebody pops on there and they mention that they're in our area. And they're building a Buick-powered Mercedes for the 24 Hours of Lemons. And I'm like, that's too cool, right? I have to check this out. Because I actually wanted to do a Lemons car a few years ago, but I couldn't put a team together. So, guy's name is Dallas. And he says, yeah, come by the house anytime. Well, you know, I'll show you the car. So I go by his house. And like I said, I'm a closet Buick freak. No, I mean, Mopars are my thing, but I love Buicks. And so I show up here at his house. And I see the Mercedes. This is the Lemons car that they're putting together. He's got a team working on this. And I walk in the garage, expecting to see maybe a Buick sitting on the floor. And look, it's loaded with Buicks. Everywhere you look, there's Buick motors. And there's Dallas.
How you doing?
Dallas, YouTube.
How's it going, YouTube?
Pretty good. So, how did you end up with all this Buick stuff?
Well, my father was a big Buick guy, and he passed away 2017.
Okay.
And my mom pushed me, like, clean out the garage. Okay, well, pull one motor out, two motors, and next thing you know, I'm loading up 16 motors and head south to Tennessee. So.
And so now, basically, all you do is build Buick motors.
Build Buick motors and then put them in various vehicles, like our Lemons project, and just put them back on for purpose, you know, and repurposed engines.
Let's show them some of the other stuff you have with Buicks, and then we'll come back in here.
Okay.
So, the Lemons car. I know you showed me yesterday some of the fabrication you had to do on this thing.
Oh, this thing is extremely difficult. So, it's actually more similar to probably a 6234 X-frame GMB body.
Okay.
Because it's a rear steer setup. And the Buicks, when they were in the rear steer cars, had a center sump oil pan, which left you room between the K-member and the drag link. On this car, no such luck. So it was all about making the Buick V8 front sump. So
We'll show them that oil pan later. Actually, I want to do a lot of stuff on this car. You don't mind if I jump in and help thrash on this one?
Not a problem. Right? Not a problem. Okay. We need all kinds of help.
Excellent. I'm totally down for that. But wait, there's more. Here, come here. Wait, save this for last. So I walk up his driveway and he's got this thing he just picked up. What's the story with this?
Okay, this is a '63 Buick Special. I bought it for the purpose of running a Sega Super Gas, or Sega Super Stock class. It requires it's got to be same motor as the manufacturer, and it's just a lightweight, what they call a Y body. It's the equivalent of a Corvair.
Yeah, this is the economy Buick.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They came with a pretty neat little motor, a 215.
Climb up here. Okay.
And it was an all aluminum engine.
So that's the aluminum 215, which later became the iron
300 Buick.
300, which later became
the V6 Buick, the 225 Fireball.
So this thing, we're gonna do a whole piece on the lineage of this engine. This is the basis of the most successful, versatile engine ever built. I don't know, small block Chevys, everybody's like, oh, we're going to small block Chevy, the LS everywhere. No, this thing forms the foundation for countless engines that were in production until
2007.
2007, so from 1962 to 2007.
And I firmly believe that this engine probably has the most heritage in the newest GM LS series engine.
You know what? We'll do a whole video on these engines because you have enough examples of stuff here that we can. So, okay. But what motor is going in this car?
It's 350 Buick. It's 364 cubes, and it actually is the same short block almost as this 215.
So anyway, that's it's a shame that you can't use the 215 for the Superstock car, right?
Yeah, well, they'll let you run it, but I don't think I would be very competitive.
We could try.
It would definitely be neat.
Beautiful car. You know, you guys are always looking for cheap, you know, entry-level 60s cars, right? What did this thing set you back?
This was $2,200.
$2,200, right? Come here. Look at this. Look at the metal on this stuff. I mean, it's... Where did this come from?
Abilene, Texas.
Abilene, Texas. It's solid like the day it just came off the assembly line. There are bargains out there if you guys just look beyond the typical, you know, oh, I want a Roadrunner, or oh, I want a Torino, right? If you go looking for some of these lesser known, lesser popular cars, you can get tremendous deals. You told me there's a second one of these you're looking at?
Yep. There's one in Georgia I was looking at.
One in Georgia?
$1,600.
$1,600. See, the deals are out there. You just gotta, like, you know, think out of the box.
Yeah. Search them out.
Beautiful car. I mean, absolutely beautiful car. So, and then you showed me your truck, your Suburban.
Yeah.
All right, come here, look at this. So what's the last place, I mean literally like the last place you'd ever think you'd find a Buick motor, a 455 Buick? How about a Silverado? Like it grew there. So this is your daily driver
It's my daily, so right now.
and tow vehicle.
Correct. Yep.
Unbelievable. And then you've clocked this thing off of.
It has a Dakota digital dash
Right.
that they sent us for testing.
Yeah.
And it has a 0 to 60 and a quarter-mile timer at it. So the best 0 to 60 I've got is 8.6, and then 16.5 quarter-mile time.
Okay, that which is nothing to sneeze at. And this is like basically a stock motor.
This is a stock 71 motor. It's still got 8-to-1 compression, and it's got an RV cam in it.
And you tow with this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now you've obviously towed with Chevy motors. How does this thing stack up to that?
Oh, this thing it'll pretty much flatten any hill. It'll pull almost anything that you have, based on the limitations of the vehicle, right? But I just towed back from Memphis, bringing that Buick home, and it towed getting 11 miles to the gallon, which is kind of on par for what these things did.
But the thing about Buick, see, you got to understand, the Buick V8 evolved during the period of time where they were using the Dynaflow transmission, which is that's the only Buick thing that I never really was able to wrap my head around, you know. But the Dynaflow is basically a torque converter attached to your rear axle. So all Buick V8s of this era, you know, actually from the beginning of Buick V8s, are all torque motors, you know, because they had to work that Dynaflow transmission. So Buick engineering, even after they got away from the Dynaflow and they started using regular turbo 350s and 400s, the engines still had that lineage of just being torque beasts, and that's why they run the way they do. You know, because engineering wise, they started off with a handicap.
Right.
You know, here, pull this 5,000-pound thing up a hill with a one-speed transmission.
With
you
just
know?
a slipping torque converter.
Right. So they're awesome. Does this thing have a switch pitch converter in it?
No, I wish. I looked around for one forever because originally I wanted to tow with a switch pitch and then put a gear vendors behind it. So that way, you know, you had virtually 6 speeds with all kinds of capability.
Do you have a switch pitch tranny here?
No, I don't.
Because a lot of people have never heard of that.
Yep.
You want to tell them what?
Well, a switch pitch actually started with the Dynaflow transmission, where it was a variable pitch torque converter. So it had a throttle assembly that was attached to a switch that ran the vanes on the torque converter based on load. So the harder you hit it, the engine would stall up higher, and it virtually was just 2 different stall speeds within the same converter. When it went to the Turbo 400, matter of fact, majority of the Turbo 400s, they're cast the same. The Turbo 400 is actually the Buick transmission, right? It was developed for the 64 model year in the like full-size cars, was known as the ST 400, which is the Super Turbine 400. In 64 they weren't switch pitch, but in 65 and later, up till GM picked up the transmission line and became the Turbo Hydromatic 400, it had switch pitch.
I had a customer's car, a Buick Riviera with 455 with a switch pitch in it. This was when I was a kid. It was a customer's car when I had my gas station back in the day. And this thing had a 455 with the switch pitch. And, Kat, you remember that car, Fudd's car? Mm-hmm. This thing used to launch so hard, she would say, it's painful. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Unbelievable stuff. That's the kind of things that made me a Buick freak. I mean, like, I'm Mopar to the, I bleed Mopar, right?
Right.
But I love Buicks. I love everything about Buicks, the Buick culture, the whole bit. And I spent years hanging around Scotty Guadagno, PG Performance in Brooklyn. So he was doing R&D work for Kenny Bell, later for Mike Thermos with NOS. All of that stuff was street raced with big block Buicks and a deuce and a quarter. And that's all of the R&D from, Jim Bell would have an idea for a camshaft or whatever, an intake manifold, whatever, and he sent it down to Scotty, and Scotty throw it on and go on 150th Street and, the conduit with it. So, but anyway, there's one other, see, we're going to do a lot of videos with you.
Okay.
You guys are going to get used to seeing him because he's got just so much trick stuff. But there's one other element to your life that, blew my mind. You're the owner of
The American Hot Rod.
the American Hot Rod Association. Okay, right. That's the American Hot Rod Association. Like Lions Drag Strip, American Hot Rod Association. New York National Speedway, the AHRA.
Yeah.
So how did you end up as the president or the owner of one of the oldest names in drag racing?
The opportunity just kind of presented itself. In 2006, I was stationed in, I was in the Navy 23 years, so I was stationed in Hawaii in 2006. They closed the track in Hawaii. Okay. Well, that's different than if you closed a track, say, like New York National. You guys just went and ran at what, Englishtown or?
We ran on the street.
Well, okay, but we're in Hawaii. There's 1 million people on a small little island. So when they closed the track, it was the only track.
Okay.
And it absolutely decimated all the racers in the area. So I started looking at chasing the name. And I was like, there's got to be a better way because, this could have easily been settled with a dispute from the landowner and the track operator. So I pretty much started chasing the name, and I thought I was going to resurrect the name. Well, it just so happened somebody beat me to it. And I contacted him, but years later, he ran it for, I think, 5-6 years. And then he contacted me and said, hey, I'm done. Would you like to buy it? And I said, sure.
Now that was the day that you retired from the Navy.
The day I retired I submitted my retirement paperwork. I actually had 6 months left.
Right.
But I submitted my retirement paperwork, and on the way back from the retirement office, he contacted me, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll buy it.
That's amazing. I mean, seriously, that's like, you're going to make great things out of that.
I hope so.
And we want to help you.
Oh, great.
Any way that we can.
That sounds good.
So, anybody who's interested in joining the AHRA, you want to give them information?
Sure, you can visit us on the web. We have www.ahraonline.com. We have a Facebook page, Instagram. You can actually just write us a letter. We're at P.O. Box 309, Las Casas, Tennessee 37085. Just shoot us a snail mail letter, and we'll send you a membership application right back.
Oh,
It's that simple.
There you go. So join up now. We're going to take over, right?
Sure.
NHRA is old news. It's all the AHRA from now on.
It'd be nice.
Now, great meeting you.
It was nice meeting you, Tony.
We are going to do a lot of stuff here. I said you guys are going to get sick of Buick things, because I'm in heaven here. This is awesome. So, and I got to bring you that transmission. You're going to use a Chrysler transmission in the Superstock car.
It sounds good to me.
There you go. 833 4th.
That's exactly what everybody would have done in the 60s.
All right, that's it for now. More to come. See you tomorrow. We say
See you later.